If your content isn't connecting with your ideal audience or your dream clients, it might be that you think you're not very good at it, that this just isn't your thing, or that you're not really an expert in your industry or your field, and we both know that that's not correct. The truth is that you're probably trying to do too much inside of one piece of content, and even though that can feel like you're trying to explain more so people have context, it actually can lead to your message being more vague and harder for people to realize that it is something that's really going to help them where they are right now. In today's video, I want to talk to you about how to solve small problems through your content as a big picture thinker. This is part 2 in my Underthinking Content and Social Media series. If you haven't already, go back and watch the first part and then come back to this video. I will link it here. And if we haven't met before, I'm Mackenzie-Smith, an award-winning business coach, visibility and marketing strategist. And for the past 12 years, I've been supporting introverted, highly sensitive and neurodivergent solopreneurs to really understand themselves, get clear with their own goals, what they need, and build a business around themselves instead of what they think they should be doing or what they've been taught about online business from people who maybe don't work the same way that they do. In every video, I'm hoping to give you something that you can take away and do something with that's going to make your life a little bit easier when it comes to content, marketing, your offer, or sharing that offer with the world. And so let's get back to what I see all the time with big picture thinkers. And if I'm totally honest, I actually figured this out for myself because I will start with one small idea, and before I know it, it has evolved and grown into something so much bigger than my initial intention. Because as I start to talk about something, I then realize there's all of these little side quests that we can go on that add more context, that can help people more and can give them more nuance or choices based on their specific situation. And when I realized that I did this and that it was actually diluting each piece of content, I started to really become obsessed with the idea of solving small problems. And so before I go into that and what that looks like and give you some examples so you can start to simplify your own content creation, let's talk about the problem, the fix, and why it works. Something else that I've really noticed when it comes to content creation, especially for my solopreneurs who are trying to do so many things at the same time, and content creation and marketing always falls to the bottom of the list because it's a little bit uncomfortable or it's just something that they're not super familiar with. And like I said, an example from this very video series, I'm going to get super meta and show you how you can turn one idea that starts to get really big into multiple different pieces of content and even a mini series that can help you to create something that people can keep coming back to or that they can binge and get little bite-sized pieces one at a time. So the problem is that big picture thinkers naturally want to explain everything, the whole transformation, the full framework. And as a neurodivergent person, this is something that I know that I have always done to make sure that I'm not misunderstood, to make sure that the other people that I'm talking to fully understand what it is that I'm trying to say. And there's no room for miscommunication or misunderstanding. I know that I have sat in front of clients before and they've started to tell me about this idea that we've decided could work really well as, say, a free workshop or a free offer to bring new people into their world. And in the short amount of time from when we first come up with the idea, they go away and start to plan it out, and then they come back to me for feedback. It has suddenly grown into this huge, big thing. They want to explain every single part of the transformation. And what I really want to keep reiterating to you in this video is that it is important for you to understand that journey. And there are definitely times where you want to walk people through what that journey looks like, what that bigger transformation or framework is that you have created or as part of the modality that you share and that your work is based around. But that is not what we want for everything that we put out, especially when it comes to our free content and especially things like our social media or even videos and long form content that we're doing as well. When we try to cover too much, it actually creates confusion for people because it's like an information overload. And the more that we try to paint that picture and hope that people don't get confused or misunderstand, what we actually do is we start to dilute our message and it can become really vague and broad because obviously any kind of transformation that our work is offering to people is going to be custom tailored to that person depending on their goals and what they need as well. well. The solution here is to use our content as an experiment to create bite-sized little information nuggets for people to speak specifically to them, especially in 2026 when we know that all of the algorithms across all of the platforms have really shifted to that TikTok and Tumblr algorithm that is more based around interest than it is who you follow. So if you watch a video where you have looked up recipes for something, you will start to see more recipes on your feed. If you like or share a piece of content that is about a specific TV show or a movie, you will start to see more content that is around that. Anything that you're engaging or interacting with across any of the platforms right now, you will end up seeing more of that organically because your behavior with that piece of content is telling your specific algorithm these are the things that you like to see. And if we know that about our own selves and what we see all the time, that is how the feed of our ideal clients works as well. So when we're thinking about this and we're thinking about our content, we might start in a long form like this video and go, okay, in this video, I'm going to cover this specific topic. I'm going to take these 3 points and go into a bit of detail on them. And then for my social media content, I'm going to break those down even smaller and share little pieces, different angles, come up with all the different things that we know our people are struggling with or maybe looking for solutions around, and make sure that we are creating lots of different kinds of content that will speak to different people who are all experiencing a similar thing, but they think it's something different based on what's front of mind for them. And when it comes to social media in particular, we only have a short amount of time to capture our people's attention. So when we can speak to their exact frustration, their exact hesitation, they will stop scrolling because they will see themselves in that initial hook or that first slide and they'll stop to pay attention. And the more that they are doing that with your content, the more they start to trust you, the more they recognize that you're somebody who can help them and that you're giving these little tiny bite-sized solutions to their problems, the things they're thinking about right now, which over time will compound and build trust with them. And when they're ready to take that next step, you will be the person that they think of next. And so before I go into some specific examples and show you how I like to break down ideas into smaller, more bite-sized pieces, I just want to talk about one thing that I know a lot of solopreneurs do. And you might have experienced it yourself. People tell me this all the time, that it's one of their biggest pet peeves when they're on somebody's email list and they actually forget that they're even on it because they never hear from that person until they're trying to sell something. You have probably experienced this before. I know I certainly have, where I'm like, who is this person and why are they suddenly trying to sell me something? And this translates across every single platform, because if you're only creating content when you have something to sell or you're looking for new clients, there is a whole gap between those times when you're promoting something that you could be inviting new people into your world, showing up and giving amazing value, practicing talking about your message and seeing which different angles connect with your people, and building that trust and recognition as well, so that you have this lead up that when you are actually launching something, people are ready to go, they know who you are, and they actually know what's coming because you've been preparing them for it. But what I see so often, and actually the first time I remember having this conversation with a client was very early on in my business, where they were promoting a live in-person event. And I asked, how many times have you shared it? And she had only shared it once and was disappointed that she hadn't got any ticket sales. Now, this was probably about 10 years ago. And even then, that wasn't enough for somebody to know that it exists, make a decision about whether it's right for them, get that kind of sense of like, oh yeah, I should buy a ticket, and then actually take action as well. And what I've recently realized, if you listen to my podcast, you will have heard me talk about this before, is that so often when we're busy, when we're trying to do so many different things and content is not necessarily a priority, when we do have a spot available for people to work with us, or we are promoting a new offer or something that we want people to sign up for or buy, there is a lot of pressure being put on just one piece of content to be able to do all of that heavy lifting and sell that thing. Whereas when we're showing up on a regular basis and we're including that launch, we're including that offer into the different things that we're talking about throughout the week, It means that there are multiple opportunities for somebody to see it, to connect with the piece of content, and to understand what their next step is. This also means it massively takes the pressure off. And I know that when there's a lot of pressure on for this one Instagram carousel to book you new clients or get you those DMs that will lead to those conversations, the pressure for that to perform and be a perfect piece of content is so high. And I'm telling you this because I've seen it over and over again. When we're expecting that, we're always going to be disappointed because it's usually not those pieces of content that actually perform. But when we commit to actually creating more little bite-sized pieces, it spreads the pressure out across lots of different ideas and angles. And it also gives us a benchmark for what performs the best, what are the things that your audience is actually resonating with, and what do you want to create more of that you may not have realized was something that your people were really thinking about right now. Instead of trying to tell your whole message in one piece of content and have it do all the work, breaking it down into many small and specific messages and angles gives each one a moment in the sun. It gives all of them a chance to be seen by your audience, and it helps you to see, again, what it is that your people are looking for. So when something is too broad, it often gets skipped. And here are some examples of what that might look like. When we're talking about like how to build a sustainable business, the complete visibility framework, if I had done that for this series, everything you need to know about content, how to finally get consistent. I mean, that bottom one, how to finally get consistent, could be used as a business coach. It could be something a life coach could use when talking about goal setting, for example. It could be something a personal trainer or a gym might use. It could be something a writer uses to sell their writing workshop and how to get into a good habit with that. When we're really, really vague, it's so broad that on the surface, it may seem like it will attract more people, but what it actually does is it makes people go, oh, that's not for me. But when we talk about specific things, people feel in a good way a little bit called out by that, and it helps them to realize, oh, I need to stop and pay attention to this. Especially, again, as I said, in a world where so many different things, so many platforms, so many pieces of content are vying for everybody's attention. The more specific we can be, it may narrow the number of people that will resonate with it, but it will cut through in a way that broad content just doesn't anymore. So some specific examples can be things like the one thing stopping you from posting today, why your caption rewrites are failing, what to do when a post gets zero engagement, the mistake that makes your content feel vague. See how that's so specific to someone who is getting frustrated with posting on social media and getting zero engagement. They are going to know that this post is for them and hopefully has a solution for them. So let's get into how you can do this for yourself by finding a small problem. Start with your work or your offer. What are the real day-to-day frustrations that people face inside of that space or that you are talking to on a regular basis? There is a very good chance that people have already told you what it is that they are struggling with or frustrated about in their day-to-day life that they are looking for answers around. If you don't have that yet, I highly recommend going and talking to some people who are your ideal clients, even thinking about the FAQs that you get asked, or go and research other people in your niche who have maybe a bigger audience than you. Check out their comments on their social media profiles, their YouTube channels, because you may actually find there are gold nuggets in there that you can take and create content around that are going to speak directly to your ideal clients. You can always win with answering questions that people are actually asking you and making sure to use the exact words they use, even if it's not the terminology that you usually use or that industry experts in your field tend to use. So often we're talking to our peers instead of talking to the people at the level and using the language that they actually use. And even if you can shift that one thing, you will notice how much that connects with your ideal client. Get specific, not that you struggle with content or that you want to work out more, but get really specific about what are the things stopping them from doing what they want to do. So for example, say you're a personal trainer or a fitness coach and you're wanting to connect with people because you have a specific solution to them actually starting to train more, to build muscle, to do the things that they've been wanting to do. Now you're in an industry that is massive and that a lot of people are talking about similar solutions, and And you need to find different ways to talk about your work so that it cuts through and connects with your ideal clients. What you want to do is you want to grab a piece of paper, open a Google Doc or whatever works best for you, and think of all the different things that are getting in the way of them actually doing the thing they want to do. This exercise, by the way, is also really helpful if you're writing a sales page for your offer. This is the piece of feedback I give the most when I'm reviewing sales pages for my clients, that they are talking about these big concepts instead of addressing very specific daily things that your people are coming up against and why they're looking for a solution to fix that. So for example, you might say, okay, people are making it to the gym. What are the things getting in the way of them doing that? It is things like they don't want to get up early in the morning because they're tired because they stayed up too late. They don't have a good routine. They haven't set themselves a proper schedule. So they're actually negotiating with themselves every single morning at 5 a.m. to decide whether they're going to go or not. They have a long work day, and by the end of the day, they're actually just too tired to go to the gym. They've got family at home, they've got a full-time job, they've got a long commute. So think of the really specific challenges that you know your people are having and write them all down in a list. And then it's a case of actually addressing each of those in separate pieces of content. When you share that one problem with one simple solution, that is what really cuts through people's noisy feeds and actually connects with them and makes them click through to read more. Your back-end offer, your main coaching program or group program or whatever it might be, is likely something that is the full transformation or a big chunk of it, but you want to break your content into as many micro steps leading up to that transformation, so preparing people to be ready to start to work with you, and then also mini steps along the way so that when they do inquire or they come to work with you further, they have an understanding of what your work and what the transformation is from all the different things that they've seen from you over maybe the months or years they've been following you. So it's not a massive surprise, but also that you're not solving their whole problem in your content so that then they don't need to take that next step. And this is a tip that I have learnt myself. If you catch yourself trying to include everything or include too much, that is a signal to split the idea into multiple posts, not one bigger one. Now, sometimes there is going to be pillar content that you create that you want to maybe really optimize with SEO and have a series or one big long post that is going to really help you to rank for that specific keyword on Google or YouTube. And don't get me wrong, there is a time and a place for this kind of content. But specifically when it comes to social media, we want to take those big ideas and we want to look at how many micro pieces of content can I turn this into. And the best part about this is that it is unlimited in terms of the different angles and ideas that you can take from one big idea and turn into so many other little mini micro wins for people that are easy for them to consume as they're scrolling, as they may be in a different headspace, and then move on with their day and then recognize you as you keep coming up on their feed and keep giving them these little tips and these little micro wins that they can take and implement. So let me just show you what this has looked like for this video series. I decided I wanted to do an Underthinking social media video because I've recently created the Underthinking social media toolkit. It is $9 or it is completely free if you come and do the free trial of the Cozy Business Quest at the moment. And it's got all of your post ideas, a full checklist, how to optimize your bio, how to turn existing content into other content that's really quick and easy for you to create. And I thought, it will be perfect to make a video about this. But as I started to plan it out, I realized that these are big topics and a lot to be able to address in one video. I realized that I would prefer to go a bit deeper into each of these and give you a small solution for each of the main challenges that I see so many solopreneurs struggling with. And so from there, I built this out, and that is what turned into what we have here in the companion guide. So as you can see, there are are structured steps and there are specific patterns and there is a mini transformation inside each of the videos that kind of work within this series. But the best thing is what I mentioned before. Instead of having one video for 1 week of content, I now have a full 4-part series that I'm actually going to package this up after it's finished and put it into my free community, the Visibility Vault, and have it as essentially like a free opt-in for people who come and join the community. And then there'll be some other discussions and support in there around that. So I hope that gives you an idea of how you can take your big picture, your transformation, this big idea that you have, and actually break it down into smaller pieces. That is not only going to make your life easier because it means that you have more different ideas and content that you can create. You are not relying on just one piece of content to do all the heavy lifting for you. You're spreading it out across multiple angles and mini ideas within that bigger idea. How you can actually connect more with your audience because you're being more specific, you're addressing more of their front of mind challenges and the things that they are really looking for a solution to. And you're building trust by giving them those micro steps along the way that mean that they're not overwhelmed, they're actually able to just quickly go and take action. In the next video, we're going to break this down even more, and I'm going to show you how your content can become such a no-brainer ecosystem that is going to make it so much easier to talk about your work and actually get excited to share in this way. Before we finish up, I always like to end with one reflection prompt that you can take and do something with after watching this. Think about what your audience is actually stuck on right now, not the big transformation that you offer, but a small daily, real life frustration. When I started to work with a lot of life coaches and energy healers, the biggest thing that I noticed from how people talk about their work in that way is this really big picture, massive transformation, very kind of esoteric idea of living your best life or discovering your life purpose, healing your inner child. And all of those things are so lovely, but very vague and can often kind of translate as something that would be nice to have, but never something that people are walking around going, oh, if only I could just live my best life. If only I could just heal my inner child, my life would be so much easier or so much more fulfilling. And instead, really hone in the closer that you can get to the specific daily challenges that they are experiencing, address them, acknowledge them, and then have a next step or a solution for them, the more that they're going to resonate. And then you can keep kind of zooming back out and bring them along a journey so that they can see how all these little pieces that you have been guiding them through are actually leading to the transformation that you offer. And when they do this big thing, all of these little frustrations that they have are going to shift or feel different or just not affect them anymore. So think about the thing that they are stuck on right now, not the big transformation, just the small daily frustration. Write down 3 specific micro problems they are dealing with. Pick one and then create a post around it. I hope that this has helped you to think differently about not just your transformation and the way that you talk about your work, but the way that you could break each of the phases of that transformation, each of the tiny little pieces that make up to the work that you do, the daily frustrations, the challenges, and the small wins that you know you can help people to get because of the tools that you have, because of your lived experience, and because of the different prompts or resources that you have created or you can provide to them to help them to solve that problem. You can create so many pieces of content from that and make it so easy to test different things out before you even create your sales page, before you go all in on a specific messaging angle. It's great for research. It's great to test ideas against each other and see what your audience or the people you're currently in front of actually resonate with. And it takes so much overthinking out of your content creation because you're not trying to explain your whole methodology, your entire framework and transformation, and rely on one piece of content to do all of that for you. And you're breaking it down into small bite-sized pieces that are easy to create, quick to test, and help your people to take one small step forward, which for some people will be one step closer to you. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you have any questions. I will pop this guide in the show notes as well so that you can check this out, but you can also skip ahead if the other videos aren't live live yet. And if you're looking for more support and accountability to underthink all different areas of your business and start taking gentle, small, daily steps forward to create momentum, connect with your people, and get your work out into the world, I would love to have you come and join us in the Cozy Business Quest 7-day trial. Currently, like I said, you can get access to the Underthinking social media toolkit that has not only mini videos, a full checklist, an AI audit if you like to use AI, a whole bunch of templates, and very short videos to walk you through each step to think differently about creating content, especially on Instagram, but it can be applied to multiple platforms. We have also just started the 1 step at a time challenge, which is going to help you to identify what you want to get done each day, especially when it comes to your visibility and your content. If you want to be seen, if you want people to know that you're open for business, and to build that gentle momentum that's going to create a level of sustainability without the exhaustion and overwhelm that so many solopreneurs are experiencing right now. If that's something that you're interested in, the links will also be below. You can join on the 7-day free trial, check it out for yourself, and then decide what you want to do after that. And make sure that you come back next week because I will be talking about the content ecosystem and how to take one idea and repurpose it into multiple pieces of content beyond even just what we've talked about today. Thank you so much for watching or listening if you're listening to this on the podcast, and I will catch you in the next one.